Hi, I'm Isha on FTC Team 13201 Hazmat.
Hi, I'm Ava, an FTC and FRC alumni studying electrical engineering at UW-Madison.
Hello, I'm Bella on FRC Team 4786 Nicolay Fear.
We are here to go over building relationships with policymakers. You might be asking, why do we want to build relationships?
In 2024, 1,156 bills were proposed in the Wisconsin Assembly. Topics range from ambulances to cranberries to family therapists to taxes to fertilizers and raffles. No one can be an expert on all of them. While legislators didn't need to know about every bill, that is still a lot of different subjects. Much like the general public, few state legislators are experts on everything that comes before them. Unlike most people, however, legislators are expected to make decisions that shape our communities, even when they know little about the topic at hand. Because of this, it's not unusual for a legislator to turn to subject matter experts when crafting a policy.
With a strong relationship, a policymaker will listen to you and value your advice and input. With work, they may even come to see you as a resource and expert on subjects in your field. For example, if a bill were to be passed regarding robotics education in schools, us, as the direct result and the students who love robotics, will have a primary opinion rather than the policymaker, who may not have necessarily had the same experiences as high schoolers have now. Because again, policymakers cannot know everything, but you know everything about robotics.
If a policymaker trusts you, they will take your input seriously and they are more likely to see the issue from your perspective. This makes it much more likely that they will support your position on the bill. Trust is key to building a long-term relationship with anyone, especially when it is a policymaker, and you want them to support your position.
So now that you know why, you should know who are our primary targets. Different representatives and senators have different areas they've chosen to specialize in, just like Megan and Ian described, and they are seated on committees that handle bills on specific topics, such as Assembly Committee on Colleges and Universities, on Science, Technology, and Broadband, on Education, on Utilities and Technology. There are 47 different Assembly committees and subcommittees listed right now. That's a lot of different subjects, and some of them relate to STEM and robotics more than others. Get to know your different assembly committees and who's a part of them.
If you can vote for them, you're important to them. In Wisconsin, at the state level, we are represented by a representative in the state assembly and a senator in the state senate. You can find your district and legislator here at legis.wisconsin.gov. The best policy makers to build relationships with are those that represent you specifically. For example, FEAR found that our representative is Rep. Madison, and Team Hazmat found that their representative is Rep. Mikulski.
Additionally, we are represented nationally by a representative in the U.S. House of Representatives and a senator in the U.S. Senate. You can use these two websites to find who represents you. For Wisconsin, our senators for the state are Senator Baldwin and Senator Johnson, but for now we're focusing on our Wisconsin representatives.
So now that we know who we want to connect with, how can we build relationships with policymakers? It is simpler than it sounds, but it requires work. It is like building a relationship with anyone. You don't just want to show up once a year and tell them what you want, but that's just common knowledge. And proof that advocacy can seem scary and something that may feel outside of our abilities as middle school and high schoolers. But again, it is much simpler than it seems. If you have something that you want to change or have a position that you want to see an outcome with, you have to be an advocate, which I know you all are capable of.
Number 1. Do your homework. Learn about your representative. What party are they from? How long have they been in government? What committees are they on? What are their primary interests? What did they do before being elected to Congress, and what are other bills they have supported? Sign up to receive their email updates to stay current on their messaging and activities, and follow their social media accounts if possible.
Number 2, be seen. Most representatives hold town halls or listening sessions for their constituents. If possible, attend those events and participate. And now with lots of virtual options, you can be seen from your very own home or meeting place.
Our team does our best to be seen by representatives in whatever way we can. We are seen at fun events like the July 4th parade, but also attending town hall events to show the presence of FTC robotics community in our city. We took time to invite our senator and rep to our qualifier, further adding to their interest in aiding robotics through legislation. These small acts contributed greatly in working with Representative Mikulski to pass the motion to increase the robotics CPI grant for all Wisconsin teams in 2024. If starting off with your representative seems a bit intimidating, start off smaller. We spent a lot of time attending school board meetings to show strength in numbers to push for support within our school district. This gradually led us to setting up meetings with our school principals, superintendents, and speaking on behalf of robotics in our district at various board meetings. Today, this success has led to an official FTC room, another FTC space in a science classroom, and a $1.6 million budget for an FRC space and robotics and automation class pack.
Number 3, be active in your community. If you are seen in your community by your legislators, your value will increase. They know your influence and connect to people they rely on to be elected. On my team, Nicolay Fear, we run 20 plus STEM events per year and run multiple FLL teams. With full team participation over the course of the year, we are able to grow the impact of STEM in our community, giving people a gateway to robotics. We also hold an annual robot reveal where we invite our legislators and community members to meet in our space. Through communications and social media posts, our outreach acts as proof of the necessity for accessibility to robotics to our legislators. Consistent community engagement creates a value of STEM for all. Number 4, invite them to meet where you are. Hosting a decision maker or their staff in person can show the impact robotics is making on your community, school, or campus. A personal visit also provides an opportunity for photos and positive social media coverage for both your program and the legislator. Additionally, if your team is hosting or going to be at a community event, extend an invite to a decision maker. An example of this is how my team invited our representative, Representative Madison, and his staff to the first Wisconsin Regional last year.
Number 5, always have something for them. Whenever you meet your representative, make sure you have something for them to keep. Not only is it a good way to help them remember you, but it's a great way to keep their eyes on the information you want them to remember. This could look as simple as a sticker or button, but for the best connection and ongoing relationship, bring a brochure highlighting what your team does and what FIRST is, so the policymaker you are talking to has a less likely chance of forgetting what you came in and talked to them about.
Number 6, be appreciative. A great way to stay in your representative's mind is a simple thank you note after meeting with them. Make sure you always thank them for their time with a written follow-up. This is also a great time to include any information you might have talked about with them. Policymakers have a lot of responsibilities and their time is valuable. This might not help remember you, but it is a basic sign of respect and courtesy.
Number 7, stay in touch. Don't contact your representatives so much that they ignore your messages, but make sure to stay in touch persistently enough to stay on their minds. Opportunities to reach out and maintain contact are your group did something noteworthy, the legislator did something noteworthy, legislation is coming up on the agenda that you're both interested in, some event occurred that's a shared interest for both of you.
Now that we know the 7 steps, who else should we build relationships with? You cannot forget the staff. Often, the representative staff will be a gateway to the representative and will have a lot of control over what information makes it to the representative and onto their calendar. If the policymaker you would want to meet with is unavailable, don't fret too quickly, as their staff may still be available. While you will not be talking to the policymaker directly, you will still be telling the person that is in charge of most of the policymaker's day and calendar the importance of robotics. And that could lead to a possible meeting with the policymaker on a future date. In the image on the left, you can see my team meeting with a staffer of our senator when we were unable to meet with our policymaker in person. On the right is an example of our relationship with our representative staff member. When my team was flying home from an away competition, the staff member just so happened to be at the same airport as us and came up and spoke with us after recognizing our team. This shows how those relationships with staff members can be just as important as the relationship with our policymakers.
You could build relationships with other advocacy organizations and civic groups in your area. Being able to quickly put together a coalition when you're meeting with a policymaker is an incredibly useful and valuable tool. Even if other groups don't fully overlap with your primary focus, bringing them on board for specific policy can be useful.
This may seem like a lot, but building relationships is easy and important. You just need to remember the 7 steps. Do your homework, be seen, be active in your community, invite them to meet them where you are, always have something to them, be appreciative, and stay in touch. I know you can build effective relationships with your policymakers.